What's the most awkward thing you've witnessed at a high school reunion? Not me, but my Bill's high school reunion. A guy that was severely bullied in high school started a Facebook group to get the ball rolling on planning a high school reunion. He planned the venue, food, drinks, and asked everyone pay a ticket price to cover it all. He organized the money go into a provided bank account, received 200 plus people's HS reunion delirious and F'd off. Never to be heard of again. I've never laughed so hard in my life. That is the greatest act of high school revenge I've ever heard. I play in a band. We got booked by a restaurant for some class reunion. I show up to set up for the gig and it's my FOing class. I wasn't even invited. My mom's 35th high school reunion was at a bar that I frequent quite a bit. I walked in with my mom and went up to a bartender that I know to order a drink for my mom and I. He looked up at my mother and I and immediately got super shy and weird and then said, "You're the daughter of my mom's name?" Apparently he had a huge crush on my mom in high school and my uncle beat the shit out of him because he creeped my mom out. Very awkward indeed. My friend said her cousin's high school reunion was really awkward because this guy ran up and kissed his high school girlfriend without her asking and then got in a fist fight with her husband. Did not turn out well from what I hear. 2 of our classmates passed away before our 5-year reunion. One of the girls organizing the event thought it would be a good idea to make cardboard cutouts of their faces, as if they were truly still here with us. The worst part was that people got drunk and started toting them around, taking pictures with them. It was F'd up. A guy from our class passed away from cancer shortly before our 20th reunion. He was never super popular but was pretty well known across our class. During the awards speech section of the night, the lady, our class president, I think, was trying to get the crowd to settle down for a moment of silence. You could tell it meant a lot to her as she started getting heated. The crowd started shushing one another, and it got just quiet enough to hear somebody say, "Geez, did somebody die or something?" When I was like 6, I went to my dad's small town 30-year reunion. His ex-fiancée, not my mom, was dressed in her prom dress, and kept talking to me saying she should have been my mommy. Even then I knew that was weird. Keep your crazy in, lady. My mom's 35th high school reunion was at a bar that I frequent quite a bit. I walked in with my mom and went up to a bartender that I know to order a drink for my mom and I. He looked up at my mother and I and immediately got super shy and weird and then said, "You're the daughter of my mom's name?" Apparently he had a huge crush on my mom in high school and my uncle beat the S out of him because he creeped my mom out. Very awkward indeed. 10-year reunion held at a bar owned by former classmate. Started at 10 p.m. Owner told people adults over 21 only. People said they needed to bring their kids and were told no. Several people brought their babies and toddlers anyway. Parents drank like teenagers and the kids ran wild. Owner called cops who watched the parents be negligent. Parents escorted out by some cops and their kids were taken out by others. Edits for clarification. Original reunion was going to be at our high school, but less than 20 people bought tickets so it was cancelled. A lot of us live not too far and see each other out and about anyway. We had a Facebook group for the event. So when it was cancelled, the bar owner agreed to have something at his place, but we had to follow the law since it was a bar and not a restaurant, like no one under 21. He did ask people to leave with their kids and was cursed out. I heard one girl spat on him, so he called the cops. One of my friends, who was an organizer for the original event, tried watching the kids, and she pointed out their parents to the cops. When they arrived, the classmates were really drunk, to the point they couldn't have driven their kids home and others were belligerent, hence the arrests. I was there with a guy friend when he saw his ex. They approached each other, him going in for a hug and her extending her hand to shake. When they each realized what the other was doing, she put her arms out for a hug, and he extended his hand to shake. By the time they touched, it was just a jumble of hands and arms weirdly touching each other. He started by saying, "Sue, how have you been?" I just said, "Excuse me," and got the hell away from them. At my 10th year HS reunion, a guy I hated and who hated me showed up and came directly toward me. Not saying anything at all to me, he then engaged the person standing right next to me on my left. He proceeded to move around the room talking to literally everyone there. Only 33 people in my class, and stopping with the person on my right. Didn't so much as acknowledge my existence the whole rest of the day. It was super weird at the time, but many years later it was the most memorable thing that happened. I laugh about it now. Edited to clarify 10-year reunion. At my 10th, the organizers gave awards to people for various reasons. One girl from our class was given an award for having the most kids of anyone there. She'd had 4 by different guys, which was part of the announcement. The look on her face as she slinked up to the podium said it all. A kid in my class, 1982, was hit by a car during our junior year and wound up in a persistent vegetative state. We had heard bits and pieces of information about him in the years after, but none of it sounded reliable. He was dead. He was still in a coma. He had come out of it. He was normal. He had become a born-again Christian. He lived at home and couldn't do anything for himself. You name it, we had heard it. Every reunion, there's still misinformation being passed around about the guy. In our 10-year reunion program he was on the in memoriam page. Then it was pointed out he wasn't dead. Last fall we had our 35th reunion and he was announced along with the let's take a minute to remember our departed classmates, and then others pointed out that they thought he was still alive and living in Florida now. I don't think we'll ever find out the truth. Probably the reunion itself. Our 10-year was in 2015. I did not attend as I got roped into helping salvage a 4-wheeler from the river that a couple buddies had found. If you're interested, the guy who kept it got it running again for about $1,000 worth of parts and work hours. Score. So for about 3 or 4 months leading up to the reunion date, a few of the popular girls from our class started a Facebook group to organize everything. And it seemed to be going really well. People had moved all over the country but were saying they were moving their schedules around to attend. There was talk of renting an event hall on the fairgrounds. One girl's family now owned a local restaurant and offered to put up that venue for an after-hours thing, etc. Everyone seemed really into it, and from what I could see, all seemed ready and willing to put behind them whatever petty grudges and high school BS had existed 10 years before. Comes to the morning of, and absolutely no one has committed anything, and in fact it's almost complete radio silence on the FB group. Someone suggests that since we have no place reserved, should I? When my lady teacher came up to me, kissed me on the cheek and told me she loved me, she was very drunk. I felt very awkward. Edit. No, she wasn't hot. She was old. Once spell corrected a Christmas card I gave her, and the night of the formal, smelled strongly of booze. Apparently, every year, my brother's graduating class gets together at this one neighborhood bar over Thanksgiving. It's not a formal thing, but anyone can come and they all have a few drinks and it's totally normal. I literally had no idea about it, and apparently my brother didn't either, because 3 or 4 years ago we showed up to get a drink together alone and his entire graduating class of 50-ish people were there. Now, my brother was super nerdy and kind of an awkward kid, but the Marines and college turned that around and now he's an outgoing, sociable guy. Coming out of the closet once he hit 23 helped too, since he was comfortable in his own skin and it showed outwardly. Thing was, no one seemed to know he was gay, and this is small town in the Midwest, where there's nothing else to do but gossip, and since no one leaves, everyone knows everyone else. I literally spent all night cringing, while my brother dodged the advances of a bunch of girls aggressively hitting on him. Since the dating pool is the same guys they went to high school with and he was fresh meat, they were all coming on super strong and it was bad. Then everything got even worse when he told them he was living on the East Coast because he was gay and married, and his husband's job was there. Haven't had a high school reunion yet, but here's a fun one from my mom's 3rd reunion. She went with my dad back to her hometown for the reunion. My dad grew up in a different place, so he didn't know anybody there. Bored out of his mind, he decided to have some fun and found a way to discreetly ask someone who the biggest juvenile delinquent, troublemaker was in their graduating class. Let's call him Albert Davis. So, my dad went to the name tag table and found Albert Davis's name tag. He put it on and went around saying hi to everyone just to watch their reactions, because most of them assumed that Albert Davis was in prison. My mom did not think it was funny. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, drop a like and subscribe. Please check out more of our videos or our playlist. It is perfect for when you want background noise or to put on when you are falling asleep. Once again, thank you and have a great day.